What can the Panthers learn from the two Super Bowl teams? I think that's a fair question to ask, right? If you want to do anything, you should look at how the best in your field are doing it, right? You want to be a chef, you better go watch a chef show of the best. I don't know. Who's the angry British guy?
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay. You better study his knife strokes, right?
Roar!
Yeah, you better watch what everybody else does that gets yelled at. So if you're the Panthers, you better watch what the Chiefs and the Niners are doing.
If you want to be a good radio host,
Hey.
produce The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
You're too don't go into it, but there's a lot of radio hosts that I listen to often to pick up little things from them. And here's what I think the number one thing that the Panthers can learn from these two squads. It does not matter if you have a prodigiously talented, super freak, top 10 pick, or the last literal pick in an NFL draft playing quarterback. It really, really helps to have the team set up around the quarterback as they develop. It sounds obvious, but these two teams have done it wonderfully. I mean, you may say they lucked into it at times, but for better or worse, they did it wonderfully. Patrick Mahomes came into the league with Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, a successful offensive line, and Andy Reid calling the plays. That is an incubator to develop within, right? That is just a warm nest that feels like a well-worn hoodie, right? Comforting and giving you all the space you need to grow. Brock Purdy came into the league with Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk. Shortly after arriving, Christian McCaffrey showed up, a successful offensive line including Trent Williams, and Kyle Shanahan calling the plays. Same thing, right? Same thing. Now, it does bring into question the nature versus nurture debate, and I'm talking about the quarterback version, right? I often say, quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes are going to be stars regardless. Right? When people wave, Patrick Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith for a year. That's why he gets to do this, that, and the other. That's why I'm going, no. Don't disrespect Patrick Mahomes that way. If he would have started his first game as a rookie, he'd be a pretty darn good quarterback, right? Don't give all the credit to whoever redshirted him while Alex Smith was down. So same is partially true for Mahomes. And, I think Mahomes would have ended up a star regardless of where he went. He's that darn good. But it helps, and it helped in his development, and it helped him get experience in big games, and it helped him play through some growing pains because his team was so good. Purdy, I don't take anything away from Purdy. I'm not somebody out there saying he stinks. I'm not someone out there calling him the game manager. But he may not have even had the opportunity to show what he was capable of if when he took over, the team wasn't really good around him. Like if he takes over, even if he plays pretty well, if they lose, 6 out of 8 games that he starts, he doesn't get another shot, right? They draft a quarterback, they bring in a quarterback the next offseason, whatever it is, and he's a trivia question. Who was the last guy drafted? Even though he's solid. But you put him around all of these good guys, he wins a bunch of games. Now who knows? He might be a $40 million a year quarterback this time next year. So now let's look at the Panthers, right? They're the ones trying to learn. They messed that up. They messed that blueprint up from the jump in year one.
They drafted the first overall pick when they should have just waited and drafted the very last.
I'm not. It's not always. Yeah, I know. It's not. But some people always do go like, well, you could just grab Dak Prescott in the 4th. You could just get Brock Purdy in the 7th. I'm going, do you want me to list all of the other quarterbacks drafted in the 4th through 7th rounds that don't work out? That's chasing an outlier going for that. But what I mean is, they probably should have made sure they had all of the other ducks in a row before you bring in the quarterback. Right? You go get the wide receivers. You go get the offensive line. Once you have that, then you can airdrop in your quarterback of choice, and they have what is best suited to them, developing well and developing into an eventual Super Bowl appearing quarterback. The Panthers messed that up. But there's no excuse not to reevaluate and do everything you can to get it right in year 2. Because if you'll notice, yes, the Chiefs have a very, very good defense this year. And yes, they had a very good defense when he came into the league. Mahomes did. The Niners have a great defense, and they've done that since Purdy got there. But I didn't list that as the lesson. Right? I think the Panthers this offseason have to prioritize offense. They have to prioritize building that incubator, that nest, right? That ecosystem on the offensive side that can develop Bryce Young, can take things off his plate, right? Deebo Samuel is unbelievable after the catch. Tyreek Hill was unbelievable at getting open. And you may say, like, Patrick Mahomes still had to throw it. Yes, a quarterback is always going to have to be a quarterback, no matter who his supporting cast is. But there is a luxury with having guys that you know will win. Hey, if he's singled up, I'm throwing it his way. I get to look like a really good, savvy quarterback, right? And look the safety off all the way to the left, even though in my head I'm just going 1, 2, 3, till I look back to the right and throw it to Tyreek Hill because I know he's manned up. And if he's manned up, I'm throwing it to him no matter what. It's that important.
I'm glad you brought up focusing on the offense because I was going to say play to your strengths within the offense. Do you want to be a pass-heavy team? Do you want to be a rush-heavy team? Because of the Kansas City Chiefs, you see them be a pass-heavy team. Now, obviously, the Panthers don't have Hill, Watkins, Hardman, Robinson, Kelce, but they realize in crucial situations and crucial games they need to pass more, whereas the San Francisco 49ers, you saw what they realized they needed to run the ball more through McCaffrey.
Well, the Chiefs are like the lesson you can learn from the Chiefs is how they got here, not how they operate right now, right? Because Patrick Mahomes is to the point in his career where he doesn't need the incubator anymore, right? You put him out there with one pretty good wide receiver and a bunch of maybes, and he's going to turn him into an offense that is good enough. Right, you put him out there with Rashee Rice. You put him out there with obviously Kelce is there and he's pretty good. But you mix him in with Marquez Valdez-Scantling, right? You mix him in with some of these other guys who aren't as accomplished. He's going to be able to get them there. But at the beginning of his career, it wasn't that way. They did have studs. That's what you need to do for Bryce. Give him all the studs now, and then down the line, you can start pairing them back, and he can start carrying more of the load. The other thing is pay attention to tight end. Pay attention to tight end. It's one of my favorite stats. Of the last 12 Super Bowl appearing teams, 9 of them had elite tight ends. 9. There's a Ertz best year for Philly. There's a Kittle year. There's 3 Gronk years. There's 3 Kelce years. And there's a Goddard. And when Goddard was pretty good last year. You add this year, it becomes 11 out of 14 because obviously Kelce and Kittle are back again. 11 out of 14 years, there's been an elite tight end. Or actually not even 11 out of 14 years. 11 out of 14 teams the last 7 years, there's been an elite tight end. Maybe there's something to be said there, right? Follow the trends. And I know it's much, much more difficult than saying go get yourself a Kittle or a Kelce. But keep your eyes peeled. If there's one out there, keep your eyes peeled. You know, Sam Laporta was not a first-round pick. He looks pretty darn good for the Lions. Keep your eyes peeled.